In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
Looking for whole food supplements for your ketogenic lifestyle? Then let me introduce you to Further Food. Go to furtherfood.com and you'll see that they source the highest quality ingredients on the planet. They have collagen peptides and my favorite, the gelatin powder to make those yummy gummies. And all of it is sourced from grass-fed, pasture-raised bovine collagen from Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. This is really high-quality collagen and gelatin. There's no hormones or antibiotics. It's non-GMO, and it's the most tasteless and easiest to use on the market. If you're not using collagen and gelatin, you need to be adding this to your ketogenic lifestyle. Collagen will help you curb your carb cravings. Again, head on over to furtherfood.com, enter the coupon code Jimmy at checkout, and you'll get 20% off your order. Elevate your wellness. Further Food. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. If you'd like to engage live in the content, you got to go follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Living Low Carb Man, LivinLowCarbman. Once you're there, you can engage live just like Beth and Sweet Benefits and Bluegrass Keto and Elvira, Bullock in 2018. So many people coming in right now. Thank you all for being here today on Jimmy Rants. If you missed the rant, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours on Instagram. So be sure that you're following me on Instagram. But if you happen to miss it, or you're not the Instagram type and you're watching this on YouTube, for example, hop on over to YouTube. That's where we house all the past episodes. Just type in a keyword, Jimmy Rants. You will find the show over on YouTube. Finally, we have the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form. It's the Jimmy Rants podcast. It's on Apple Podcast and Stitcher. All of these links, you guys, are at JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants is another one of those philosophical ones, because I have been doing a whole lot of thinking in the downtime that I've had recently. Been trying to take it easy in the months of May and June, and so we're still in May, and in the downtime I have a lot of time to think. And a thinking Jimmy Moore is a dangerous Jimmy Moore, because as my mind has settled from the day-to-day hustle and bustle, it has brought to mind so many things that obviously have been in my subconscious to talk about, but because of the day-to-dayness of everything that I do, I don't really think about them greatly. Well, guess what? Since I've been taking it a little bit easy, I've been thinking a whole lot. And again, this is kind of a precursor to what it might be like when I'm gone for 6 months, starting in September. And obviously I'm going to be working on ways to document things. If I think of things, I'm not just going to, okay, that was nice. I wish I could Jimmy Rant, and I'm going to do something with it. I promise you. Just not publicly during that 6 months. But right now I'm still around, but I'm just taking it a little more easy, and I'm thinking about things. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is how we interact with people on the internet. And I've talked very openly about how people talk to and about me online. And it's very interesting, the more that I observe this, how many people are extraordinarily quick to judge. And they're quick to judge me based on something they've heard. And this isn't just about me, but it definitely is a good example of what I'm talking about here today. They're quick to make assumptions about things. And I'll give you a hard example. So yesterday on Twitter, there was this gentleman that this lady made a comment, and I had said something about, I'm over the diet wars. I really wish people would just allow others to choose the diet that works for them and not be so critical. And then this guy chimes in. He says, "Oh, this is rich because you have all kinds of rants on YouTube right now where you demand that everybody go keto. You need to stop lying to people, blah, 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 blah." And so I gently responded that I don't think everybody should go keto, and that's never been my philosophy. And if you actually followed my work, you would know I have, from day one, 15 years ago, have always said, find what works for you. If it happens to be a low carb diet, great. If it happens to be a vegan diet, great. Find what works for you. And that's been my philosophy since day one of blogging and posting online. But because this guy was so quick to judge based on what he had heard about me and what he thought of me, and I suppose the caricature of what it was that he thought I believed in, he was quick to judge. And so what I want to talk about here today is, are you quick to judge people that you see online, or do you try to give people the benefit of the doubt? And in my position, you guys, I have to do the latter a whole lot more than the former, because I have been judged so strongly and harshly. I am always the first person to say, okay, wait a minute. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's assume they're not total turd balls. Let's just assume that. Let's just assume they don't know how to talk to people in a humane way, and give them another chance. And I do this often when someone comes on my social media, and this happened just yesterday on Instagram. Somebody posted a comment and they called me a liar and a couple of things. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and we responded to the comment that he made, and then came back, doubled down, even uglier than the first comment. And that's when we block, delete. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt. And I think there's value in giving people the benefit of the doubt, because let's be honest. Online, it's hard to read tone. Online, if all you see is words, you might read those words in your head in the tone that you have for it, rather than maybe the intended tone. And sometimes people say things in jest, but the way it reads and the way it comes across is a totally different meaning, which again is why I don't think we need to be so quick to judge, and why we always need to give people the benefit of the doubt. And if there are people that you know are on your page, on your pages, and they're just rabble rousers, get rid of them immediately, because those are the people that are the cancer to your sites. And I have had to learn this the hard way over the years, because I give people a little more rope than others. But I don't think simply because someone disagrees with you, that's reason enough to block and delete. I don't mind disagreement. What I do mind is when you say the most vile, ugly things to and about me. I don't put up with that. And I've tried to put in for myself, you guys, some shields. I've got a guy that's been my right-hand man for several years. You guys have heard me talk about Hank before. Hank is now looking at my social media for me, so I don't have to look at it. And the relationship to health, all of this is, because you might be like, wow, this is way off the beaten path today, Jimmy. You usually talk about health. This is related to health. Don't think that all that negativity that you're exposed to, having to deal with people, and turd balls, as I call them, on your social media pages, for example, don't think that doesn't have an impact on your health. Because our bodies were never meant to be under intense stress, chronic stress, day after day after day after day after day with no relief. And when you're online constantly and you're exposed to that constantly, it has an impact on your body. It has to. And especially for those of us who tend to have a little more kindness in our heart, or attempt to anyway, and we're a little more, we feel the relationships that we have with other people, even if they're virtual like this one, you still feel that relationship with people. And if you have that feeling, then if somebody says something ugly, guess what? You can say all you want that you're going to let it roll off your back and it's no big deal, but it's going to impact you. And I do know that that's one of the big reasons why I still have the excess weight on the body. For example, that's just one manifestation of the higher cortisol and some other things, which is why I'm taking the 6-month sabbatical. So, but do you judge people? I think it's extraordinarily easy to go online and to see someone make some random comment, and then to just quickly, want to come back at them based on how we prejudge them. And can I just urge you to resist that knee-jerk reaction? Because this is where we get into trouble. And I've been the victim of this, you guys, where I have said something that I didn't mean it the way that they interpreted it, but someone translated something that I had written on their social media. It was here on Instagram, actually. And now this person thinks I'm a vile human being because of the way she translated what I wrote in her head. And I suppose we all come at this with our own kind of baggage about how we've been treated in the past. And so therefore, if someone triggers that thinking to you now, you just assume it's the same as it was in the past, when it could be a totally different situation. Is this resonating at all? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Because I'm just sensing that this is a major reason why people flee social media. They don't want to be exposed to all of this. They don't want to be judged. There are people that love judging others, and that's the people we're trying to weed out. Those people that are just quick to judge and they don't really give a rip about you as a human being. They don't really want you to be happy at all. And I know there's people that specifically come on my social media with the sole intent of trying to ruin my day. They do. I know that that's their motive. There's no other explanation or reason why they would act the way that they act. It's meant to upset me. And it just comes with the territory of what I do and how long I've been online and the success that I've had. So I get that. But does it make it right? No, it doesn't. But it is what it is. But for you personally, do you embrace trying to get people the benefit of the doubt? That is so hard. Can I just tell you that is incredibly hard, especially when someone has said something pretty ugly to or about you. Or seemingly so. Because sometimes I have blocked and deleted people, and then they write me and they're like, I've been a follower for years. I bought Keto Clarity. How dare you block and blah, 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 blah. And I'll usually engage them in the message and go, okay, well, here's what you said. Is that not what you meant? Oh, well, I was just kidding. I'm like, well, put a smile emoji, put something that gives me a clue that you're not being this vicious, vile human being that you come across as. And again, that's somewhat my fault for judging them for that. But again, I always give people that first grace period. You said something stupid. Okay, I'm going to engage you a little bit. And then if you come back and say something stupid a second time, your butt is gone. Bye-bye. No apologies. And I think sometimes we have become so used to the viciousness and the ugliness that is online that we think this kind of behavior towards one another is normal. Can I just be the first to say, this ain't normal? Before the advent of social media and the internet, we used to have to talk to each other in person. And nobody talked this way to each other. Civilization has gotten out of control because we have gotten so used to talking to each other in a virtual sense. And those of you that have met me in person, I'm 6'3", and I've been told I intimidate people because of my height. I wouldn't hurt you if not in a million years, but it's just the imagery. Nobody that says some of these things to me online would ever say it to my face. Number one, I would beat your head in if they said some of the things to me or about Christine that they share online. But it's amazing how we have changed as a society. And I know I sound like an old geezer today, but I think the humanness of people is still there. And I think we need to treat virtual interactions with other human beings much in the same way that we would if we were seeing them in person. Can you imagine how the world would be, the online world would be, if we all treated each other with love and respect and kindness and compassion, and we were slow to judge and quick to give people the benefit of the doubt rather than vice versa? I don't think most people give any benefit of the doubt to anyone. And instead, they're extraordinarily quick to judge. And I think we can change that culture, you guys. If enough of us say, you know what, I'm not going to participate in judging people. And I've talked about this before. Sometimes whenever there's something negative said online, then it spawns what I call kind of an echo effect, a Me Too-ism. That people see the comment and then someone else says, yeah, that's what I believe too. And then someone else over here says, yeah, I think that too. And then it just cascades into this morass of bitter judgment on this person that's the victim of the attack. Which is why I always give the benefit of the doubt first by responding, but then if they come back double dog, twice as bad the next time, then we block and delete that person and they're gone forever. And you need to be comfortable with that, by the way. If someone is treating you bad, you would not allow them to walk into your house and say all kind of vile, vicious things about you, your spouse, or your kids. You would kick them out of the house faster than you can say at you, right? So why do we allow people into our social media house to come in and start trying to wreck the place? You would kick them out fast if that happened in real life. So you need to start treating your social media in the same way. And don't let those people in your life. Don't. Give them one warning by giving them the benefit of the doubt. And then if they still act fool, bye-bye, with no apologies. I just think too much of the online world today is just reactionism rather than, let me try to learn from what's being said here. And things won't always be said well. And again, I've been guilty of that too. And I have a couple people on Instagram that they refuse to engage me. They refuse to follow me. I still follow their pages. I just don't comment anymore. And I've invited these people on my podcast, and they, for whatever reason, because of something I said and the way they interpreted it, they just don't want to engage with me. And to me, that's sad. I get it. I get why they believe that. But to me, it's just really, really sad. So the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants is, are you one of those people that's quick to judge? Or do you give people the benefit of the doubt? I think if we give people the benefit of the doubt more times than not, then they probably will come back and prove to us that they're not the vile, vicious human beings that we think they are. And again, in my position, I see this to the nth degree, where I get people, they think because I'm famous online that they could just say anything they want. And I suppose if you look at how real famous people, singers, actors, movie stars, that kind of thing, how they get comments from people, it's the same comments, just on a more intense level and obviously more volume. And so because of my pseudo fame that I have online, I get a lot of exposure to that kind of thing as well. But it probably seeps into your life, whether you have 100 followers, 1,000 followers, 10,000 followers, whatever, here on Instagram. You probably see that kind of thing on a smaller scale, but you still see it. And so how do you deal with it? Do you judge those people, or do you give them the benefit of the doubt? All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for being here on this Jimmy Rants. You look so energetic. OMG, your aura right now. Thank you, Lavender. I'm sitting in a parking lot. I was out running errands this morning, and this was really heavy on my heart, and I wanted to come on here. Lavender says, please do a journal during your sabbatical for sure. We'll tell you where your subconscious needs some attention. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing a written journal during that time, as well as if I have something on my heart and mind in the moment of being on the sabbatical, I'm going to go on camera. Now, I won't publish it. It won't be live, but it will be kind of a video journal. Then when I get back in March next year, perhaps I upload those videos. That would be kind of a cool little peek inside during the sabbatical. Now, I'm not going to go on camera just to go on camera's sake. That would be working. But if something's on my heart and mind that I want to share, even if it's just little moments, little 3-minute, hey, I got to get this off my chest, then I'm probably going to do that during the sabbatical. You never ever said everyone should go keto. No, I have not, Keto Clock. I have always said find what works for you. And I've even gone a step further and said, you know what, if you decide to go vegetarian, vegan, plant-based, I'm going to support you in your decision. And I'm going to encourage you to do what works for you. And I'm going to give you that support for that lifestyle that you've decided to do. Even if it runs counter to what I would do. I don't care if you do keto or not. I just want you to make better choices. And if you make better choices and you want to get healthy, I'm going to support whatever that effort is. So thank you for acknowledging that. Benefit of the doubt can be helpful, but go off your energy. Got the day. I don't know what that means, Lavender. Maybe one day you have energy to give 5 people the benefit. If they don't continue to engage. Yeah, I always give them the one benefit of the doubt. And then if they come back with just the double down, and it's inevitable that this happens. Someone says something that's kind of passive aggressive, right on that borderline of, okay, maybe they're asking a question, but it sure does come across as criticism. And then you respond in a kind and gentle way. And then they come back double down with the ugliness. That is your cue to block, delete. I will always give people that first benefit of the doubt. And then if you prove that you're still a turd ball, you will be gone very fast. And usually some of these comments come in the middle of the night. So I'm sleeping, I go to bed generally between about 8 and 9 when I'm at home, and I'm up around 4 or 5 in the morning. And when I wake up in the morning, I have all these comments sometimes from people. It's like they can't say it during the daytime because they know I'm going to block and delete them really fast. But it's ugly, ugly, ugly stuff that comes in overnight. Am I the only one that gets it like overnight? When I got hacked on Instagram in November, it happened in the overnight hours. I was long asleep because obviously if I was awake, we would have caught it. So what are people doing up in the middle of the night? Got nothing better to do with their life, I guess. It's all connected, mind, body, and spirit, says Val. It is. So if you allow the stress of ugliness that you see online to impact you, it impacts your body physically. And it impacts you mentally and spiritually. It's just not good, which is why I try to have people that hedge some of that negativity in my life. And we're continuing to try to find that proper balance. CC Guide Dogs, my humor sometimes is misunderstood. I appreciate those who ask me to clarify to make sure what I mean. Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes people try to be funny, but without emojis. Can I tell you, if you're trying to be funny and maybe tongue-in-cheek, use lots of emojis, because that will diffuse the way it's read. If someone sees a laughing emoji next to some comment that looks ugly, it gives a clue to the reader, oh, they're not meaning this literally. Oh, they're just joking. And even put in parentheses, hey, I'm just kidding. you've got to be overly expressive in written form to convey the message that you're trying to convey. I can sit here on camera and you guys see my expressions and you can see the tone of which I'm saying things. And I could say, you're a really horrible human being. Oh my gosh. And see how the tone of my voice makes it sound funny. But if all I wrote was, you are a terrible human being, how does that read to somebody reading it? How does that sound? It sounds horrible. It sounds like someone's being overly critical. So you've got to go over the top in making it clear that you're being sarcastic / funny. You are human. It does hurt. Your mission has been to help people. And I think that's the thing, Keto Clock, that I have such a heart for people that I do take things probably harder than someone who's just looking at social media as a widget. I don't see you people as widgets. You guys are my friends. You guys are the people that support me and follow me and are the reason why I keep coming on this show every single day. I don't do Jimmy rants just for the sake of ranting and getting it in and getting out and not engaging with you. I like engaging with you. And as such, when I see a negative comment during that engagement, it has to have an effect. Now, I'm not one of those people that thinks everybody has to like me. I don't care if you like me or not. But I do try to help literally anybody. And here's the dirty secret with all these negative nannies that write these nasty grams to me. They don't realize I'll help them too. I'd be happy to help them too. It's always been my heart and mission to help people. Brittany says, harsh words impact me a lot. I wish so bad it didn't, and I'm actively working towards having a tougher skin. Yeah, Brittany, you know, those are the things that have been said over the years. Oh, you just need to learn to have a thick skin, and you need to learn to toughen up. I don't think so. Why should we change because of the turd balls of the world? Why should we change? Why should we totally uplift and uproot who and what we are as people simply to appease the turd balls out there? No, you be you. And I think for someone like yourself, Brittany, if you start getting those negative people, yes, give them the benefit of the doubt, but then if they come back at you, you block, delete, and you move on with your life. And I don't think you allow that to be there. And when you grow to a certain point, maybe you hire someone to take a look at that stuff for you. But no, don't you dare change. Don't get a tougher skin. Don't change just to appease the people that mean harm in your life. Don't. You are who you are, and your followers love you for who you are. You called yourself Real Food, Real Life for a reason. Is it real life to develop this tough skin that you've never had? Nope. It's real life to be authentically Brittany, here today and always. So just keep being who you are. And yes, it's going to impact you from time to time when you see a turd ball. You just got to come up with that strategy, block, delete, to take care of those people. Exactly what you were talking about is why it has taken me so long to dip my toe into the waters of social media. It is sad that it is like that. Yeah. And it's been like that, but it seems like as it has progressed, we have regressed on social media. When social media kind of first started with MySpace back in the day, I'm dating myself, pulling out MySpace, it was not this vicious. Now, I will tell you, the place it was vicious first that I noticed is YouTube. So if you're watching this video on YouTube and you know who you are, there's some really nasty people on YouTube that leave comments. Even on these Jimmy rants, it's always funny. Wow, you're so fat, man. Why are you talking about health? I get that just about every single day. And there's no benefit of the doubt there. You're just blocked and deleted. Goodbye. I don't put up with abuse. And you've got to look at it this way, you guys. When people say those kinds of things to you, they are abusing you. And because there's no legal repercussion, criminal activity from people saying words to you online, the only recourse you have is to just delete those people from being able to see your work. And here's another thing. If someone doesn't like what you're sharing and they don't like you for whatever the reason, why are they following you? Why are you watching my videos if you think I'm fat and unhealthy and going to die tomorrow? Why would you even watch Jimmy Rants? This show is not for you. It's for all those people who do want to watch. It's for all those people who do think this is an entertaining show, an educational show, an inspirational show that encourages them in their life. If that's not you and you're not getting encouragement or inspiration or entertainment value out of this, stop watching the show. Is this hard? No. Beth says, judging is inevitable based on our own perception. Checking yourself before you wreck yourself is enlightening and allows for understanding. Yes. And I always try to put myself in the shoes of the person that I'm writing to and about. And how will they see my comment? And if I think they're going to react in a negative way, I won't say the comment. And also, when I respond back to one of these turd balls that write me ugliness, I always do the same thing. I put myself in their shoes. Okay, what was their motivation for wanting to write what they wrote today? Perhaps they had a misconception about me. Oh, by the way, the Twitter guy earlier, when I wrote back, hey, I've always believed in find what works for you. I don't think everybody needs to do keto. To his credit, he came back and he said, oh, well, I had just always heard that you were all about all keto all the time for everybody. He's like, it's good to know that you're not one of those people. He's like, I see a lot online who say, and he listed all of these qualities of mistakes that he thinks some keto leaders were making. He said, I just lumped you in with those people. I never really looked to see what you actually believed. So he came back and kind of pseudo apologized for making that comment about me so publicly on Twitter. That was cool. So this is why I think responding by giving people the benefit of the doubt, and maybe he just didn't understand, is always the right first move, and not to be so quick to judge. Brittany says, I'll be honest, I'm not a total twat waffle. I don't even know what a total twat waffle means, but that's cool. I am quick to cut people off that are harsh because of the above statement. Yeah, I mean, if you know that about yourself, Brittany, then probably for your sanity's sake, it's probably a good idea to cut those people off. And see, here's the thing. Sometimes it's very obvious somebody is extremely hateful. Oh, you wear too much makeup. You'd look prettier if you just didn't wear so much thick makeup on your face. That kind of comment, just get rid of those people. But if they say something that's kind of passive-aggressive, but not just overly so, that's the people you give the benefit of the doubt. And it's a judgment call. I get it. Very subjective here. And plus, different people are able to tolerate more stupidity than others. And so if you're one of those that can't tolerate stupid, Christine's one of those that doesn't tolerate stupid. She just goes off on those people, which is why I love her. So know that about yourself as well. And that's part of this discussion we're having here today. Kimberly says, I love life and people. I always want to do my best and give my all. I, however, am the one to most likely get hurt by others. I try to live my life by the Bible. I'm learning block delete is extremely healthy. Yes, for someone like you, Kimberly, block delete is your friend. And you are a lot more sensitive than probably most people out there. And you know that about yourself. I mean, you called yourself crying for keto. So there's a reason for that. You're very sensitive. Christine's very sensitive. There's a lot of people that are extraordinarily sensitive. And a lot of them get driven away from social media because of that. I'm not going to say it's easy, guys. What I'm sharing about here today of not being quick to judge and to give people the benefit of the doubt, I realize how incredibly difficult this is. But difficult doesn't mean impossible. Difficult doesn't mean you need to change who and what you are just to appease those people. Difficult just means, okay, you've got to figure out what your strategy is. If you willy-nilly go online and you don't have a strategy about how you're going to deal with any given situation, then don't be surprised when you react in a negative way and you get upset. But if you go into, when you go online, expecting the worst of the worst to happen, then you've got a strategy in place and you do it. I remember I used to do these Periscope videos. You guys remember that from a few years back? And when Periscope first started, it was bad. I mean, they let anybody and everybody in on these videos. And for the ladies out there, I felt so bad being on some of my friends that were doing some Periscopes. And almost inevitably, you get some crazy comments coming in about show me your boobs, take off your shirt, all this nonsense. And I was just like, man, it is such the wild, wild west. I was glad I was an ugly dude because they never asked me to take off my shirt. I'd have been like, oh, baby. Just kidding. No, I mean, it's horrible. But you got to go in with a plan. And you got to go into this knowing that people are going to be stupid. Once there is understanding and clarification, there's nothing left to judge. That's right, Beth. Thank you for that. Purple Owl Stitches. When I started keto, I was posting on my Facebook page. I quickly found out there were people wanting to jump on every little thing. So I made a closed group for myself and a few of my friends. And that's the answer for a lot of people, Purple Owl. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, if you're not ready for the heat, then get out of the kitchen, so to speak. Because it does get hot online sometimes. And can I be honest with you, here on Instagram Live, I fully expected I would get a lot more ugliness and hate than I do. You guys are like rock stars. You guys are like the creme de la creme that watch this show. I just fully intended and knew that I was going to get some nasty people on here. And I've occasionally had some people say kind of negative comments, but it's not been vile. Whereas on Periscope, it was always vile. I mean, it was just the ugliest of the ugly. Same on YouTube, ugliest of the ugly. But here on Instagram Live, it's just been, you guys are glorious. I love you guys a lot. I have heard that before, too, that I intimidate people, says Robbie. He's my cousin. Robbie is taller than I am. I'm 6'3". I think, Robbie, what are you, 6'7"? You're a big boy, tall boy. So, yes, there's something about height that intimidates people. Lavender says, judging is important for self-safety, in my opinion. However, be open to allowing judgment to change when more understanding is given. And see, this is the reason why I'm saying give people the benefit of the doubt. I think even with the people that don't always know how to talk to other human beings well, I think you can learn something from them. And if you simply block, delete anybody that runs counter to what you believe, says an alternative viewpoint. And I'll give you an example of this. So sometimes people will come on my social media pages and say, oh, you're telling people to eat no protein and all fat. And so I clarify my position. I'm like, no, I'm not about no protein. I'm about moderating the protein and having the preponderance of your calories coming from fat. So a well-formulated, real foods-based ketogenic diet is one that is low carb, moderate protein, high fat. Now, those terms will differ from person to person, but that is what I believe. And so I lay it all out like that. Then if they come back and they say, you know what, thank you for clarifying. I had no idea that's what you believed. Then that's that. Or if they come back and say, oh, no, tell people, admit with people, you don't want people to eat any carbs or protein, just sucking down fat all day. Block, delete. That's it. That's it. I used to have a big problem with judging people. I have never walked in their shoes, so now I just love them. And Robbie, part of that is you're a Christian, and Jesus commands that, doesn't he? Keto Clock says, thank you for this advice. We do need to block the mean-spirited people, always. Maria says, I think people should think before they speak. We should treat people how we want to be treated. We forget the human factor in all this, whether in person or online. We need to treat people respectfully. Maria, well said, and I agree. Hear, hear. Unfortunately, Val says, I had to delete some family members because of things they've said. Family can be the worst. Now, I've got my cousin Robbie on here. Most of my family's pretty cool with what I do and what I share and what I say. They weren't always. A lot of them mocked me for having butter on my steak instead of steak sauce and not eating the bread and blah, blah, blah. But now almost all of them see the value in it. And so I think if they're going to mock you and spit in your face, so to speak, proverbially online, if you have to do that, you have to do that. When they're hurting in their health, they will come to you, I promise. Kimberly says, a gentle giant I am blessed to call a friend, teacher, and mentor. Thank you for that. When people belittle others, it says more about them than the person they're bashing. That's true, Purple Owl. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they take things to heart personally. And if you're online, can I give you a newsflash? Please don't take anything personally. Don't. For your own sanity's sake, just don't do that. Because the moment you allow a real life reaction to happen from a virtual interaction is the moment that you're going to burden your body with so much stress that it does not need. And that's my challenge with this too. In real life, I have relationships and people and all that goes with that. But then I have online far more to a multitude. I mean, all the people that follow my work and have read my book and listened to my podcast and watched Jimmy Rants, it's like hundreds of times more than the friends I actually have in real life. The body was never intended to have that much pressure on itself, that much emotional investment. Have you ever stopped to think about that? Think about how many real life friends you have and then how many virtual online people that you interact with. It's like exponentially higher. And that doesn't come without consequence to your physical body. Bonnie says, I always tell my kids nothing goes on good at night unless you're working in regards to you being hacked or comments at night. Exactly. Emojis and LOLs help clue the reader so much it does not ruin the joke. No, it does not, Lavender. Tammy says, it always amazes me how horrible people can be behind a keyboard. Yeah. I guess they think they're immune from any prosecution. And not that I'm calling for this, but I wonder, I'm just thinking out loud here, I wonder if someone is like habitually writing ugly stuff, that's slander. And of course, it would never apply to someone like myself because of my online fame. People, oh, you're an online personality. People can say whatever they want about you, which is not right. But they do the same thing to famous people in the real world, actors, singers, that kind of thing, sports stars. All the vicious vileness that comes on out there to them, they have no recourse for it because you're a public figure. And I'm considered a public figure as well. But I wonder if some everyday person decided to try to prosecute someone that was saying things. It'd be hard, but that would be an interesting precedent if that happened. Not that I think we need to squelch speech. If someone wants to act a fool, they should be able to act a fool. I'm a big fan of personal individual rights like that. But if you're ugly, I don't think you should have the privilege of being able to be on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you said the ugliness. I don't think you should be allowed if you don't know how to treat other people well. Be yourself and walk away if it's going nowhere. That's good advice, Purple Owl. Don't change your core, just find your boundaries. Ooh, I like that, Lavender. Liz says, I'm still practicing compassion and grace each and every day a lot. It has made it easier to move on with all the negative people in my life, both social and real. Good job. Nasty people can live inside beautiful bodies. Beauty comes in all sizes. Yeah. And I think some of the ugliest people in the world are the ones that are beautiful on the outside and their heart is just so vile. You could have aesthetic beauty and be the ugliest person to me because of how you talk and act. and vice versa. You don't have to have what the world would deem as aesthetic beauty, but if you're a kind and beautiful soul, I think you're gorgeous. I think it's beautiful on the inside to see someone who has a love and a heart for people and a kindness and a gentleness and a compassionate heart. And they don't necessarily have all the attributes of physical beauty on the outside. Those people are the most beautiful to me. Unfortunately, there's a lot of trolls out there who get off on these ugly statements. Yep. Hope I'm not super too late. Well, Jesse, go back and watch the beginning if you were late. What you seek, you will find. Expect the worst, you'll find it. Expect the best. Surprise, it's there too, says Beth. Yeah. My niece always says, don't allow them to live in your head rent-free. That's true, Val. That's a very wise niece you have. Thick skin sets one up for a target. Be soft, allow, observe, seek to understand. No twat waffleness. I still love that word. Has nothing to do with you and everything to do with the other. Yes, Beth. Maria says, this is the problem with social media. It's an open platform. One is free to say what's on their mind without having any consequences. It's easy to misinterpret written messages as negativity. And put yourself in like my position. With all the negativity that I see on a daily basis, if I see just yet another one, I do have somewhat of a prejudgment of that simply because of all that I'm exposed to on a daily basis. So yeah, if you're writing to me and you're trying to be funny or sarcastic, go over the top using emojis and LOLs and whatever that shows me that you're being funny and not another one of the haters. Beth says, if we take the stance, if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. How is that ever going to change? Be first to be nice. Yes. Maybe the meanie has never been shown any respect. It's why I go out of my way when I see someone, even in real life. I'll be in a store and you can tell someone's having a bad day. I go over the top in being kind and funny with those people. Because as Beth says, hurt people, be the first to be kind. Absolutely. And maybe you bring joy into that person's life that day. Maybe by not being quick to judge and not or being willing to give people the benefit of the doubt, maybe you changed that person. Maybe they were having a bad day when they decided to write whatever that comment was to you. And I'm always cognizant of that too. People are living lives. Life can be tough sometimes. That's why giving benefit of the doubt is so critical. Now, yes, there's some people out there whose mission is to ruin your day. And those are the people we're trying to weed out. And those are the people that need to be blocked, deleted. But for other people, maybe they're just having a tough time in their life right now. And it manifests through the angst that comes through in their comments. And again, guilty. Sometimes I'll have something happen and then I'm online and I see something and read it a certain way and it comes out in my comment in that way. And it wasn't intended to be that way at all. So it's something we all can work on. So the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants is, don't be so quick to judge people based on your interpretation of how you're reading the situation. And instead, start giving people the benefit of the doubt, because I think from a human perspective, they deserve that. That's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, if you want to engage live in the content, you got to go follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Living Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live just like all these beautiful people did here today. Thank you guys for being here. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours on Instagram. After 24 hours, you will need to pop on over to YouTube. Type in a keyword, Jimmy Rants. You will find the show. Finally, the best of the best moments of this here show is in podcast form. It's the Jimmy Rants podcast over on Apple Podcast and Stitcher. All of these links, you guys, are at jimmyrants.com. So until next time, we'll see you then.